Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to the Toronto Raptors 98-83 loss to the Washington Wizards. Ryker, I just reacted to the game, full live stream. We're getting your fresh takes. Sound off on this game right now.
Yes. As you can see, I'm wearing my funeral blacks, Ben, because this was a murder. There was a murder that happened. The Washington Wizards, they not defeated the Toronto Raptors, they decimated them. And I think my Wi-Fi is really killing me here, so I'm going to let you take it away. I'm going to switch my Wi-Fis. When I come back, okay, fine. But before I switch my Wi-Fis, there was an absence tonight, Ben, of our star performers. Where's the OG Anunoby that performed in preseason with his step back middies, controlling the game, displaying his handles? Where's the Fred VanVleet that we were comfortable to trade away Kyle Lowry, right? And let somebody new take the helm of the team and be the floor general and be the creator of our offense? Where's the Gary Trent Jr. that we traded away 44% from three, Norman Powell, for a younger player, paid him the exact same money, gave him the keys to the scoring load off bench, right? Where are all these players tonight, Ben, when you're playing a Washington Wizards team that's probably not even going to make the playoffs? This was an absolute murder. The Raptors, I don't want to say they're exposed. There's a glimmer of hope in all of this we'll get into, but there's a lot more disappointing things that happened in this one, Ben, which really needs to be addressed.
Well, Riker, you're unhappy with this game. I'm not that sad. I'm not that sad about it. It was an ugly start. Everything that you said, it's validated. I think you're frozen right now, so I'm talking to a puppet, Riker. But we'll have a proper debate at this. I want to see your live reactions. Maybe you just cut off when I said I didn't think it was that bad. However, the Toronto Raptors, yes, they started off this game horrific. Ugly, complete mess for the Toronto Raptors. However, second half came along, right? There's a couple things. OG Anunoby obviously is our main guy. He's the number one option, as Fred VanVleet sort of brought up. But tonight, I thought he looked confident. He looked fluid. Just the shots, he was a little bit off. The finishes around the rim that he's making all throughout preseason weren't going down, right? The shots, he was getting his legs under them, but they were just hitting the top of the rim. And then a couple of them just went in and out, and his confidence sort of flew away, right? Anyone that plays basketball knows it's a game of hot streaks and stuff, and OG was just on a cold spell. We know Fred VanVleet, he has these types of games every now and then, so that's fine with however it is. I'm cool if Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby, they're struggling a little bit, because we know what we're going to get out of those two guys. But then, obviously, Nick Nurse is searching for other players to sort of find their roles. And I thought Scottie Barnes looked solid tonight. Dalano Banton off the bench. We'll rave about him after, Riker, but there's positives to take away from this, and it's just the first game of the season, but I don't know. I like what I see of Dalano. I think he's earned a spot in the rotation, and I'm not scared of what I've seen from OG and Fred. I don't think it's going to persist.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Does the stream look a little bit better?
Yeah.
I feel like I switched to the proper Wi-Fi. I made the mistake there at the beginning. But the quick recap, my frustration, Ben, I heard everything that you said. My frustration is around the final comeback, right? The last-ditch effort to get the energy back in the stadium, 600 days away from the Scotiabank Arena. The last-ditch effort to claw back into this game against the Washington Wizards, who, again, probably won't make the playoffs this year, was on the backs of our rookie Scottie Barnes and Dalano Banton, who we said is a 2-year development project for the 905. Where was OG Anunoby this one? Where's Fred VanVleet? You can chalk it up to bad shooting, but that can hardly be an excuse for guys that have had such tenure in the NBA and that should be able to, if their three-point shot's not falling down, create offense in other ways, Ben. Seemed like Scottie Barnes was at least trying to get things going on different areas of the court. And then, you look at our bigs and they didn't have any touch around the rim. They were missing dunks. They were missing layups. They were missing putbacks. So I don't want to dwell in the negative. Although, again, I do have my funeral blacks on me because there was a couple of murders that happened out there. The one thing I'll say for sure, I'm glad I picked up Montrezl Harrell in our fantasy league because he's the only guy that's doing well for me this evening. I'm getting killed by Nick Nurse stance or low Nick Nurse stance, who I'm facing off in the Raptors Digest fantasy. But Ben, Don't let me go any longer. We need to talk about the positives, like you said. There's some under there. There's a silver lining, right?
Well,
the Raptors, they're probably going to lose against the Celtics next game.
Get out of here with that.
After the first two losses, there's a big chance for some redemption here in Toronto.
Get out of here with that. And speaking of the positives, the big positive in this one, the big takeaway is Dalano Banton. And Marcel Martin's coming in with the super chat saying the way Banton pushes... Oh, and then the chat disappears. The way Banton pushes and controls the pace is what we need more of. And that's facts, right? The Toronto Raptors came in when he was thrown into the game with a lot more energy. And maybe a part of it was... Actually, I won't spoil any segments we have for later on. But, you know, big plays that he made, right, on the defensive end. And then he was attacking the rim, full speed ahead. And Ryker, I know he's a development project. The jumper's not there yet, even though he's hitting long, deep tray balls when he immediately gets subbed into the game. But he creates his own shot. You said we wanted to see OG Anunoby create more shots, create more for himself. But Dalano Banton was able to sort of get the ball with a full head of steam and then do these crafty Euros through three guys of the Washington Wizards, who I thought played solid defense tonight. Wizards, especially with Daniel Gafford back there, were really strong defensively tonight, but Dalano Banton was really picking them apart. He honestly looked more smooth driving the basketball. Obviously, the feel for the game with Scottie Barnes is another level compared to Dalano, but just in terms of slashing and, you know, comfortability navigating through that paint when you're trying to score yourself, Dalano Banton's looking like another level when you compare it to the rest of our rookies.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I got to pull up the box score in front of me. How many minutes, if any, did Malachi Flynn get this evening?
0. Hot 0.
Big goose egg.
Yep.
I was looking at Nick Nurse's lineups, questioning what he was thinking out there tonight, especially when we're down 26, 27 points per game. Why is Decker not getting in there? Right? Why is our deep bench guys not getting any minutes? Why didn't Malachi Flynn play this evening? I'm glad that we got to see Dalano Banton come out because, well, his first career points in the NBA, electric, right? His little run brought the energy back into the stadium. It was really on his shoulders, and it was on rebounds, on the defensive end, on creating in transition, on being aggressive. Everything out there that you could see the future of Toronto Raptors basketball in this sort of big athletic style, you know, players. But then you watch the entire rest of the game where we're struggling to get any sort of offense whatsoever, and we're not getting any points in transition. We're not creating any fast break opportunities, and it just seemed like a real enigma out there. So it's going to be interesting for us to see how Nick Nurse can manage these lineups, how he can get actual offense. I think, I hate to say it, or people are going to hate to hear it, we missed Pascal Siakam tonight. We obviously needed him.
Yeah, well, Pascal is our number one option. He's our top player. But Ryker, yeah, it's the scoring. We need more scoring options. We need people to be consistent. And I know Steady Freddy, he's given that nickname in his rookie year, but really ever since he was put to the starting lineup, I wouldn't necessarily call him steady. Right, he goes through these spurts where he has high games, he has low games, right? And I think he's just coming into the season a bit low, but we'll need OG Anunoby to be that rock, and obviously Pascal Siakam when he comes back. Those two guys to be rocks scoring the basketball, which I think they can. OG Anunoby, the shots look good tonight. It wasn't something where it was OG last season where he looked uncomfortable as this. He looked the similar level of comfortability as he did in the preseason, just the shots weren't going down. And even superstars have nights like that. So I think it's fine. I'm not worried about OG whatsoever, even though people sort of slandering him until the end of the game. And he did hit a couple shots at the end of this one. But just to break down the stats, you know, a couple trays at the end of this game. But to break down a couple of the stats, Ryker, Fred VanVleet, 12 points, 5 of 20 from the field. So nothing really going for Fred. And the same problems that have plagued Fred VanVleet for his entire career came back tonight. He can't really finish around the rim that well when there's defense sort of in the lane, right? He doesn't use his caboose like Lowry to drive people out of the way. So it's tougher for him to get easier shots. He's really reliant on those threes. And when they're not going down, he went 1 for 9 from the three-point line. And he's not necessarily the greatest playmaker in the world, even though he can set people up, right? So not a good game from Fred. No debate in there, but obviously Fred has these types of nights. And OG, 11 points, 3 of 17 from the field. Now, you look at that efficiency and you should say, ooh, gross. Gold star. The gold star is gone, right? And maybe I have a conspiracy about that later. But Riker, I'm happier with OG going 3 of 17 than I am him going 3 of 8. Do you know why? Because OG last season would have went 3 of 8, 3 of 9 in this game. Or 1 of 7 when he was starting off. Because he didn't have the confidence to keep taking it. He didn't have the confidence to Mamba mentality it out. His game has been compared to Kobe during the preseason, right? Look, he's got to shoot these up. He's smooth. He's going in the paint. He's hitting these midi fades. He's hitting tough shots, right? That's what we're talking about in the preseason. But Kobe had plenty of nights. 1 of 20. 2 of 30. Right? Kobe just keeps on shooting.
Bro,
and
don't
at the end of the
compare
game,
OG to
and at the end of the game,
I gotta stop
the
you
shots
right
go
there,
down.
dude. Stop your Kobe comparison. Give it up, Ben. Give up this Kobe Bryant comparison.
Koji Bryant, baby.
I'm getting lots of compliments on the drip. I'm gonna try to completely segue away from this Kobe Bryant comparison. We got a super chat coming in. I'm definitely getting my cheeks clapped after that. We're fringe. We can say that out loud.
No.
Champion Gold Gaming. I noticed a comment from Nova about trading Pascal Siakam. Save that comment for the 2 minutes, the final countdown, because we'll have something to say, sir, about trades, my opinions on them, the landscape of the NBA, the potential of the Toronto Raptors. But Ben, I don't know. We should just do a quick dive. I also want to take a quick dive at the Washington Wizards side of things, because I was very worried that Kyle Kuzma would come out and be a threat this evening. It was Montrezl Harrell, it was Bradley Beal, it was the usual suspects. So at least we got dummied by the guys you would expect to get dummied by. If we lost to Magic Bronson, Tragic Bronson, Shaqtin' a Fool MVP, lowest IQ basketball guy in the NBA, Kyle Kuzma, and gave Josh Goodwin, the third member of the Raptors Digest, something to gloat about because he has Kyle Kuzma on his fantasy roster, that would have ruined me this evening. But luckily, it was within the rhythm of the basketball game that the Raptors lost this one. They lost to the guys you would expect to lose to, and our best players underperformed. So I think there's hope in that if they perform well, it wouldn't have been such a lopsided outcome, Ben.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? If the main guys, they showed up and played the way, because we can sort of know what to expect from a Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, even though it's a new season for OG, but we can sort of count on those guys more than the bench unit. And I thought the fact that the rest of the guys, and Boucher's coming back from injury as well, didn't look great tonight, 3 of 10 from the field, only 7 points, right? I think things will be fine. And Mr. Bro's out here calling for a leg spike. Let's get a little leg spike early on going in here. But Riker, it was Scottie Barnes' debut, NBA debut. 12 points, 9 rebounds, only 1 assist, surprisingly, 6 turnovers. Tried to make a couple of flashy passes. They didn't go down, but I don't mind that, honestly, especially a rookie getting for a feel for things. What are your thoughts on Scottie Barnes' debut?
Scottie Barnes.
What are you giggling at?
I'm giggling. Somebody said, "Get dummied by your rock cosplay, Riker." DE. Well, guess what, sir? I'm not close enough. I got the suit jacket on too, as I said in the beginning. I'm wearing my funeral blacks, right? I'm delivering the eulogy of the Toronto Raptors this evening in the hopes that they will be somehow inspired by my negativity to come back with a little bit of fuel under their fire in the next game, which shouldn't have been needed, especially when you had such a long absence from the home court. You would have thought they'd come out and play with some more energy than what they did. But Ben, your question was around Scottie Barnes, and I stick by it. The next Magic Johnson didn't have the assist tonight, but not by a lack of trying, because he was feeding everything down low to our 2 bigs tonight, and they missed every single layup under the rim. They could not. Bad. They missed dunks. They missed open layups. They missed contested layups. They missed floaters. They missed putbacks. It wasn't Scottie Barnes' lack of effort. And if they had to have adequately rewarded him, he would have almost got a triple-double in his debut. So let's not put any criticism on our 4th overall draft pick.
Riker, we're going to have Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson on the roster. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, you compare Scottie to Magic. I can compare OG to Kobe because we got the OG's merch on. But we do have a super chat. Fred and Pascal for Ben Simmons, Max. Riker, should this podcast? There's a point during the main live stream that we had a full diversion into a young socialite watch, and I'll get the full background so it's covered as you move away. No one sees those white sweatpants. But
Oh.
the young socialite watch. What do you do? We'll talk about trades after, but 5-second spiel on this.
Yeah, 5-second spiel. I'm looking at Fred VanVleet. End timer.
What? You do Fred for Ben Simmons?
I think we have a problem. I think we have a point guard problem.
We have so many point guards.
Malachi Flynn, there's no trust in him. He didn't even graze the court this evening. And Fred VanVleet picked right up where he left off with inconsistencies from three. We have no one who could lead this team. Nobody who can create on offense. Why don't we just fully commit? Why don't we just commit to 6'9" lineup of defenders?
I don't like commit to the 6'9" lineup, but Fred? Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons.
I'm telling you, Fred VanVleet looked useless tonight. And I expect that this will not be the last game that we see of him put up similar stat lines.
He has games like this every now and then. We know what we're going to get from Fred VanVleet. He's been the same player for the past few seasons, right? Hopefully he would come in and develop that sort of finishing around the ring game, but he's not that guy. He's not someone that's going to do that, but he's a legitimate starting point guard in the league, and he's a true leader to the squad, like moral leader, veteran.
Is he, or is he a legitimate two guard in the league when you have an all-star caliber one, right? Is all of his accolades purely based on Kyle Lowry being the guy that's managing the ball handling, the facilitation, the offensive creation, the playmaking, the running the offense? And Fred VanVleet just has this added benefit of being around such a gifted point guard that, you know, it takes away from all of his gaping and abilities to score in the paint, because that's what I was excited about in the offseason was we finally don't have to run a small front court or backcourt. We don't have to run a small backcourt. We can play Fred at the natural one and unleash him. Well, instead, he looked terrified out there.
This is one game, though. It's one game. He's fine, Ryker.
And I'm the overreactor pessimist. You're the overreactor optimist.
And this is why we are a dynamic duo, Ryker. But I also want to give a shout out to Shayar. I messed up their name in the other live stream, but we'll get to more meme stuff as the vid goes around. But tonight, Precious Achiuwa did start, Ryker. 6 points, 7 rebounds, couple of assists, but Kem Birch got more minutes. 9 points, 9 rebounds. What were your thoughts from the center duo? Because there wasn't much Precious propaganda going around in this one.
No, Ben. Ridiculous efficiency from our centers this evening. 37% from the field, and all of it right in the paint from Precious Achiuwa. Kem Birch, 50%, not horrible, but man, eye test, looked like he missed everything on the inside. The energy, the energy was there. They had their hands they were trying to poke the ball here and there. I think the offensive rebounding will probably improve from previous seasons for the Toronto Raptors this season, just because we have younger guys that have something to prove there in the paint. But it didn't seem like they were winning any of those battles, particularly against Gafford, and they were still getting eaten up by Montrezl Harrell when they should have been able to box out, seal out, get the defensive rebound. I thought that I'm not blaming it on them, right? Because I see so much potential in Achiuwa specifically, but it wasn't the best debut. That's for sure. Nobody would try to make an argument that it was anything better than average or subpar.
Yeah, and you brought up a lot of good points in the rebounding. The defense is a direction that I gotta rock out with this, because Montrezl Harrell is a good scorer, and Champion Gold Gaming's bringing up a super chat. Boucher and Fred VanVleet for Ben Simmons. It's better than Siakam, right? That's a better deal than Siakam. But we'll talk about the Simmons trades. But Champion Gold Gaming, we'll get a big deep dive into that during the final alarm. However, you brought up the sort of rebounding, the defensive side of things. Achiuwa was getting absolutely cooked up by Montrezl Harrell, and that's a guy that he really should be able to lock down. And Achiuwa showed some promise on the defensive end of preseason, so I'm not really worried about it. But Montrezl Harrell is a guy that's his size, right? Because Achiuwa's an undersized center playing for the Toronto Raptors right now, right? But you should be able to guard Montrezl Harrell, stay in front of him, not get absolutely drilled underneath the rim and these sorts of things. I know Harrell's a good scorer, that's what he does, but the Raptors are built. Their core is on the defensive end. So if they can't play defense, right? And I thought our defense was fine. Keeping a Washington Wizards team of Bradley Beal, Spencer Dinwiddie, Harrell, all these guys, Kuzma, and the Wizards played well to 98 points is great, especially given the amount of turnovers and the amount of missed shots that we had. Obviously, that hurts you on the defensive end, right? I thought our defense was fine, but specifically from the big man position, if we could rebound and defend, we'd be really clamping people up, right? We'd have that elite top tier number one defense in the league that you and I were sort of hoping out of this team coming into this one.
Yep. But defense, you can work. You can adjust your defense with schemes because that's all rotation. That's help defense. That's matchups. That should we double team in the post, right? Are we too undersized that we can't trust man-to-man matchups if we're guarding in the post? Do we need to face guard, right? Do we need to front out our box outs, right? Do we need to just not even box out with our backs and get our guards to come in from the wings to come in and grab the rebounds and have our bigs just purely focus on pushing the opposing bigs out of the key? I mean, those are all valid options, things that can be instilled in a defensive set in the period of a week or two, right? In practice. Where I'm concerned about, which is not the topic that we're currently on, it is the scoring, right? It's who's going to be creating shots. It's who's going to be the mid-range jumper guy, who's going to be the knockdown three-point shooter guy, who's the late shot clock guy, because none of those questions were answered. They were all really aggravated this evening. And that was the disappointing thing, was we knew all of that coming in. We knew that those were the areas of deficiency, but we thought at least we can beat up on teams with our depth, our length, creating panic and chaos on the defensive end, starting transition opportunities. I didn't see that this evening, Ben. Where was it? I thought we were going to see Scottie Barnes and OG gallop like two gazelles in an open field, being let out of some sort of zoo captivity for 10 years. Then all of a sudden they see all this expansive grass and they just take off like this. That's what I was envisioning tonight. Instead, we just got this lethargic basketball. It shocked me. It wasn't what I was hoping to see.
Yeah, definitely for the first three quarters. Because I thought we did see the gazelles run throughout the field majestically throughout the fourth quarter, right? Because we saw the press happen. And Josh and I were joking about this on the live, but Ryker, why don't we press more? Like, why don't we, at the end of every quarter, right, for the last 3 minutes of quarter, just switch it up, especially if the team's being lethargic. In the first quarter, if you're going down by 10 points, throw in a little press. Spice it up a little bit. Throw in Octopus Arms and Dalano Banton and Scottie Barnes and OG Anunoby and just, I've used this analogy before, but it's like when the semi-pro guys all put on the eyeliner and they're just staring into the eyes of guys. That's how I picture an offensive player for the Wizards or whoever would be worried. I might have to make that a segment, right? Just the clamps of Jackie Moon and the boys clamping people up. But that's something exciting there. But Ryker, we're treating this like some random off-season pod. We have some segments to dive into, and we should probably debut this one earlier because there's one guy we already talked about him a bit, but we have a new segment for this season. I can't remember what button it is. It's the Scottie Barnes Award, Ryker. And tonight we're not sure who it's going to, but I think should we say together who it's going to go to tonight for his place?
Yeah, count us down.
All right, 3, 2, 1. It's going to Scottie Barnes tonight for just being a beast. And tonight, obviously, it's 12 points, 9 rebounds, a couple of assists. The turnovers were what it was. But, I liked his no-look style. He had he caught an alley-oop at one point from Precious Achiuwa. Just a quality game. Definitely deserving of the Scottie Barnes Award,
He did. He really did. He deserved it, right? It's a good debut. It's somebody said it earlier in the comment section. It's a B+ debut, and we should be very happy with this guy's potential. Then,
yeah, no, for sure. Shout out Scottie Barnes. We'll see if he can get it next game, but getting that Scottie Barnes Award. But let's swing it into the spicy play of the day. Tonight there's a lot of moments, and I alluded to it earlier. Right, it was a roller coaster of a game, right? There was highs, there were lows, there was bliss, there was sadness, there was everything, but nothing, no mountain was higher than Dalano Banton Coming home, getting cheered during the opening ceremonies, right? The city of Toronto loves him. And then coming into the game and immediately, first shot of his career, first NBA bucket, splashing a three from beyond half court. Ryker, what a poetic night for Dalano Banton, especially if we won. That would be great.
It was. You remember these moments. You remember first career NBA points.
Yep.
3-point buzzer beater at the half court. That's perfect. Now, unfortunately, it was in a blowout loss and it was in the third quarter. But hey, we can't take away that Banton was the impact player of this evening's game. And we could give that award to him if that wasn't such a special shot to the very next possession, right? Where he had that defensive stop, took it on the fast break, looked like he was going to pass it. I think he did the classic kind of curl, like dribble where he might cross over, but it kind of comes back to the same hand.
He's so shifty. I didn't know he was so shifty.
Yep. Takes the contact, double clutches, finishes it. The wind came back into the sails, right? It was perfect. It was a great evening for Banton and Scottie Barnes. And then, what happened was going to happen. Beal took over. He sealed out the game. Can't feel too disappointed in that. You look at Raptors should have been closer and more competitive throughout this one. You can't ask for them to have a 28-point comeback, right?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to bring all that sort of stuff back. But I'm I'm impressed with Dalano Banton. I think everyone should be impressed with Dalano Banton. Even if the box score isn't ridiculous, a +8 for the game when you're getting blown out by however many points. It's a W for Dalano. But, the next, not all plays can be the spicy Pele of the day. And Ryker, some just make you say, oh, geez, Ryker. And you're rocking the all black, but I had to rep. You've been repping the merch lately. I'm repping the OG's merch. You can get it down in the comment section below if you want your OG's merch. Look at that. Look at that. Look how fresh that's looking. But tonight, the OG's play of the day. There was a few in this one. And Scottie Barnes did, for as great as he did, he did get the Scottie Barnes award in this game, which is a huge positive, a huge thing, a special moment. But did airball a three. That was tough. And I guess we've already talked about who the final... It's going to the final word, which we won't spoil what it is. But, Ryker, should I debut the other segment? Should we just debut all the segments on here?
We need some build up to this one because OGs...
No, it's not. It's not the Gold Star replacement. It's the other one I sent you. Because he gets an OGs tonight, being a little bit of chaos. I wanted to drop this so bad. I wanted to drop this animation so bad during the live stream or during the live game watch along, but... Fiji water. No one was drinking the Fiji water tonight. He wasn't splashing threes. He was just running in, making me say, oh, geez, the entire game. Sprinting down the lane and just throwing it to random people. How many turnovers did he have in this one? Only one turnover. It felt like 10. He had 4 personal fouls. 0 of 3 from the field. 1 of 5 from the field goal percentage. This was just a tough game for Svi Mihailuk.
Yes. People will be excited to see that. They played him I don't want to say they played him the wrong way. I don't want to say that. I don't want to make my judgments on any of the players because in preseason, he looked great. Yep. Preseason, OG looked great. Preseason, practically everybody in the entire Toronto Raptors team looked great. This was a paradigm shift. So something's got to give. And I think next 2-3 games, we're going to come back to the typical excitement that we've had for these players. So don't read into it too much.
Yeah, we won't read into it. Neither you nor I overreact to anything. But Ryker,
I think we've already overreacted for 45 minutes on this podcast, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but Ryker,
I see your hands going up.
This is a big moment for the podcast. From the start, we were in dorm rooms. You're at Queens, I'm at McGill. Right, the first segment that you and I crafted on this podcast. Obviously, we love to generate animations, right? We cook them up, we brainstorm, it's all we think about is animations. And the first one that we thought of was the infamous, the one, the only DeMare Carroll Gold Star Award. It's gone. It's gone kapoof. I might make it an honorary GIF or a little thing emote you can throw into the chat. But it's a thing of the past now. It's been replaced. Shout out to Scrambles for coming up with the name. But the animation has been made. We want to debut it for the first game of the season. The Golden Kazoo has been this is the first official Golden Kazoo that's been given out for the Raptors Digest. It's replacing the Damari Carroll Gold Star Award.
It needs to be the Paul Pierce Golden Kazoo for worst performance of the evening, though, Ben. It needs to be a long and over-winded title. And I noticed Paul Pierce in it, and you put a landfill background. It captures the essence of the original Damari Carroll Gold Star, but it brings in, the new spirit and the new memes of everything that we've come to love over the last 4 or 5 years of following the Toronto Raptors. Ben, you did an amazing job with this one. The Paul Pierce Golden Kazoo Award for worst performance of the evening. Shout out Scrambles.
Shout out to Scrambles. The Golden Kazoo. And tonight, I don't want to even give it to Fred. We talked about Fred so much, but I'm giving it out here to Gary Trent Jr. He hit a couple of shots, but one thing he did do, play good defense. That's a big question that we had about Trent coming into the season. Can he play defense at the level to stay on the court? However, offensively, just sound off on Trent right now. That was gross for Gary Trent Jr. tonight.
Should we blame this one on Gary Trent Jr.?
We're not blaming it, but it was a tough look. He's taking tough shots.
Should we blame Gary Trent Jr.'s performance on himself, or should we blame Nick Nurse on putting him off the bench and making Goran Dragic the starter, despite my acute objections to them throughout the entire offseason when the trade was officialized and the preseason and through all rumors and speculations that there's a possibility that Dragic might be slipped into the starting lineup. He did it despite my admonition that is that a proper word? My admonition that it's going to impede upon the development of Gary Trent Jr. And the moments that we saw at the end of last season after the trade deadline when we acquired GTJ was that he played significantly worse off the bench.
Yep.
He was less efficient. He was less engaged. His role seemed confused. He came off cold. All the things that we said about Norman Powell when he had his moment from starter to 0 minutes, one of our biggest videos on our YouTube channel, we were questioning what happened to this guy. And it was his role. It was his inconsistency. He was one of those guys that loves to hear his name called in the starting lineup. Gary Trent Jr. is one of those guys. Dragic, we might even trade him. Why are you starting him? Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, well, the idea, and people have been saying in the chat, is you're upping Dragic's trade value, but come on, get out of here with that. Especially if we're not playing Malachi Flynn off the bench, get a proper point guard coming in, and get the size and all that starting off, because their starting unit was horrible, right? And I guess this is diverting away from the Trent point, because he is a lot better as a starter, but at some point we're probably going to have to start Scottie Barnes, and we looked really good when Scottie Barnes and Dalano Banton were out there cooking it up. So it's Dragic is just the worst guy you can sort of have starting. He does exactly what Fred does, and they're the same size, and he doesn't bring anything on the defensive end. So doesn't make any sense, but it's what Nurse wants. He wants the vets, he trusts the vets, and that's just how it's going to play out. But Ryker, this pod's been a bit off the rails. The Toronto Raptors, it's a bit of a mess, but enough of us blowing our golden kazoos. Let's blow the final alarm. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
That came out a lot weirder than I thought.
Really did.
The Vi's blowing the golden kazoos, but we're signing out. We're throwing out the final alarm.
Wee 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 wee. Wee wee beep 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 beep. Wee 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 wee. Beep 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 beep.
That's right. The final alarm has gone off. We want to hear your guys' takes on this game. What are your thoughts? We have close to 400 people in here, Ryker. Only 60 likes. Let's get a little like spike going while the chat catches up.
Like spike. 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 Like spike.
The wheels are happening. But Ryker, people are talking about Sam Decker. Should he be playing right now?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, he should. Because when you're down by 28 points, There's no harm in getting some instant offense on the court, especially when you're having trouble. You're having a drought lasting 4 or 5 minutes. You're having a drought lasting the first 3 minutes to open the second half. There was consistently droughts where there seemed like there was a seal on the basket. That's where a player like Sam Decker could come in and be valuable. Why wasn't he played? That's the only reason he got signed over.
And he killed the Wizards. He's the certified wizard killer. He's Voldemort or whatever. That's his new nickname. Or who kills wizards?
Yeah, Voldemort.
Yeah, he's that guy. That's a guy. Jason's out here saying play Flynn more. Riker, should we be playing Flynn? He's the dude.
Yep.
That was a yep. I heard a raw.
I don't know. I was surprised not to see Malachi Flynn in this one. I have no explanation for it, Ben. I wish I did, but I don't know what was behind the decision making in tonight's lineups.
Yeah, well, I don't know why we're so small. Do you think Masai is going to be cooking up some trades? Because the roster could definitely. I don't know.
I want Nova to come back into the comment section and ask again, who should we trade? And the answer would be someone.
Do you know who
Probably.
Nova should trade? Mitchell Robinson. To me, I'm facing Nova in the thing. I offered him a trade. I'll give him Dragic for Mitchell Robinson. I'm negotiating live on the stream, Nova. Come on.
Bueno Kitty saying What is it? Conspiracy. Malachi Flynn on the trade block. I don't know if there's a lot of heat behind that rumor, but Leech Rec. Boucher was terrible tonight. Thought, though not surprising. Lots of bricks, but some good cuts to the basket. Ben, every 3-point shot that he took was atrocious this evening. He even made one, and I still thought it was a bad shot. Mm-hmm. I agree that he did play some good off-ball offense where he got open. Scottie Barnes' only assist of the game was to a beautiful backdoor cut by Chris Boucher. He fed him for an open dunk. Chris Boucher, we thought was going to be the X factor. You called him the third best player on the team last season. You adamantly defended that. I said, Ben, you're
get
crazy.
out of here with
There's
that.
no way
Riker's
Chris Boucher's the third best player
Riker's
on
getting
the
the
team.
true ever first golden kazoo on this podcast. First coming out here saying that Boucher's the third best player on here. Jeez.
Oh, you said Boucher's the third. I said, watch him start the season. Like he hasn't played enough to prove himself.
Get out
There's
of here
more
with
players
that.
on the team.
Man, I can't
so
take
Chris
this
Boucher,
slander.
we agree with that. 9 fingers. He shouldn't be playing yet. Trades. Everybody's saying you're maybe it's a little bit too early to be talking about trades.
I'm surprised Boucher's back. I'm surprised Boucher's he was supposed to be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, on one hand, we don't need him to come back too early if this is going to be his performance. On the other hand, we have no scoring, so we need it from somebody who's experienced. No,
that's fair. But we do have a few guys that play a position. Boucher's our tallest player. That's one thing that's wild. Trickster saying bring back Damari Carroll now that the star is gone in honor of him. But Riker, what'd you study at Queens?
Gender studies and astronomy.
You corporate banker, stop lying to these.
Finance and accounting, statistics.
Ooh, numbers guy.
Theoretical physics.
Wow.
Yep.
Man, switch the background. It's trash, literally. Oof, that
Which
hurts.
background?
I don't know. Mine's kind of awkward right now. I was in a rush to get this rocking, but
it's a little bit lopsided.
yeah, it is what it is. Jeff J has been talking about Champagne. He's been Champagne in this. Should we have seen some Champagne?
All right,
tonight?
yeah.
We could have seen anybody, and it would have been nice. It would have been an upgrade to what we were seeing out there, particularly by the starters. I thought, bench didn't score very much, but again, it was on the backs of Dalano Banton and Scottie Barnes that brought this one at least to a point where the final 5.5 minutes of this game were exciting for the fans who paid $700-800 per ticket to go and watch this one. Absurd. But, we need a lot more. I don't know if the next game is going to be it against the Boston Celtics, but I am looking forward to that Dallas Mavericks game. Who knows? Maybe we can beat the Celtics. I'm not sure, Ben.
I think we're gonna slap the Celtics. That's my take.
We better.
I think
and
OG
that better
is
be the
ready
title.
to go. I think Raptors slap the Celtics, just like the Wizards slapped the Toronto Raptors tonight. But it's Queens grad and current McGill student here from T-Mosh. It's like a fusion of us. It's you and I. We're T-Moshed. But this pod has been a bit off the rails. If you guys enjoy the content, enjoy the buzz, whether the Raptors are good or not, we probably had some of our best videos while the tanks were going. We had to go all out with the creativity. We're coming into this one doubling down the excitement. So it's fun stuff. So subscribe to Raptors Digest. It really helps us out. Subscribe to Courtside Digest, Leafs Digest as well. It really helps just the entire Digest media. You want to shout us out. But the OG's merch, it's live. It's live, right? So you can check that out there. And if you're getting merch too, you may as well join the channel. You get a few discounts off. Shoot us. We got to set up those discount codes as well. People have been reaching out to get them, but
true.
Yep. But if you want that merch, definitely go to the channel. All the links are below. Join the channel membership. We have a lot of fun things coming up. Riker, do you have do you want to sound off on the fantasy a little bit, because there's been some movement going around in that league.
For those of you that weren't able to participate in the inaugural Raptors Digest Fantasy Basketball League, we have officially started. We are at maximum capacity, 20 teams, 17 YouTube members of the Raptors Digest, 3 of the Raptors Digesters, myself, Ben, and Josh. It's an intense battle in week 1. Obviously, we're only 2 games into the season, but fret not. You will see the weekly leaderboards for that. Only 8 teams make the playoffs, and you will have the opportunity to play in next season's Raptors Digest Fantasy Basketball League. We're going to have multiple tiers going and then amalgamate all of the winners into a Champions League. Lots of prizes, lots of giveaways, all that good stuff, Ben. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. I ended up trading for Jokic. I got Jokic on the squad. I gave up Jaylen Brown, who apparently killed it tonight. So that might have been a new
43 points.
Scrubbing, but Jokic, he's all reliable out there, so I'm trusting. I got Nickeil Alexander-Walker in that. He's been killing it too. So it's positive stuff. But anyways, people are looking for tank merch, right? People want that tank merch involved. So we're dropping monthly new pieces on the merch stuff. So it's don't worry. The fun stuff will be coming. You also get Raptors Digest hats. Got to wait for mine to actually mail in, but you check all that out. The TikTok, the Twitter, all that cool stuff. It's rocking out, Riker. But do you have any last words on the Toronto Raptors loss to the Washington Wizards to start off the year?
I think we've said it all, Ben. Tune in for the next one against the Celtics this Friday.
Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend party. Yeah.
Cheers.